just quickly, we've had Bitcoin break down further and move beyond this trend line right here. See that in the daily chart, but we had this little rising wedge pattern. We're calling it a bear flag. It's a rising wedge, okay? It's giving us a back test. If the back test fails, then again, you've got the support zone in here. And again, if we lose that area, then Bitcoin's going to be in some serious, serious trouble. So again, do we establish a higher low? Do we get a successful back test? Do we go deeper into the support zone, these lows over here and the low here from March 11th? Or do we take that level out? And Bitcoin could still form a triple bullish divergence, or really quadruple RSI in the daily time frame. But right here, again, as we've seen this move happen, we've gotten the 50 back above the 200 in a golden cross. So is this a back test? Bring it up close, you can see the 50 did get above the 200. The black line, dropping black line, is the 200. The 50 got above it. Now it's dropping. Can it stay above it? Can we rebound back up? Or, again, go deeper into the support zone to get a higher low and see the March 11th low hold? As we take it out, the risk is that we lose that level of support. If you do drop below 74, 75,000, that's going to be extremely bearish for Bitcoin. See why if you watch the video all the way through. Now, Bitcoin is at the 2023 trend line. The daily chart. We're hovering around the 200. If we break the trend line, we lose Bitcoin's average price, then we're going to see a death cross. And we're going to see print parameter go into the negative region. Now, we're at the levels where other bottoms have developed. Right over here, we went into the negative region briefly, and we got the higher low over here at 52,000 on Bitcoin. So the bottoming process. Over here, we got it. And again, this is all at Bitcoin's average price. This is all at the 50-week moving average. Same thing, we slightly breached it, and we found a bottom. It's been consistently in positive territory. Print parameter has been consistently in positive territory since we bottomed out over here and got back above the 200 period, and then the 50 got back above the 200. The green line is the 50, the black line is the 200 period moving average. So we're at a moment when, again, either we're going to see a bottom develop here, or we're going to see bottom fall out of Bitcoin. When we peaked in 2021 after this divergence, we went negative, and we ended up losing the 200 period. The 50, right after the going negative with print parameter, the 50 got the death cross, and we were in the negative region up until we formed the bullish divergence. We were in the negative region. Pull up to the center line here, mark the test of the 200 after we broke it. But we were in the negative region, let me just draw that better, until we got back above the 200 here, and print parameter moved back into positive territory, and then it remained in positive territory. And it's been the firming up around the center line here that has marked the bottom here, and that's been rounding the 200 period and just above Bitcoin, or tagging Bitcoin's average price, which you'll see in this video. At a moment of decision. The bears need to take us down lower. Get print parameter going into the negative territory and remaining there. And that would be bearish. That would end the uptrend. Bulls need price to firm up around the 200 here, just above Bitcoin's average price, which we're just above it right now, and turn this back up. So the question now is, are we going to get something like what we had here and here, or are we going to get something like what we had over here? We're at the moment of truth. If you lose this level of support, you're going to get a bigger sell-off. We have the 2022 trend line down below it. If you drop below the 50-week, if you drop below Bitcoin's average price, you cannot get back above those levels, as you'll see in the video, then again, that's extremely bearish. We're at a crossroads where a decision is going to be made, where the bulls and bears fight it out. Does print parameter firm up, or does it just go into negative territory like what we had over here and stay there? And we get this dump. That was 78.5%. Move into the bearish phase. Or are we going to get one more push higher and maybe move up to this upper channel line right here and move and have the bull flag play out, and we get one more push higher? Could take us to 135 to 145,000, possibly above that if we take our time reaching it, above 150,000. That's my target, the trend line. A number is not my target. A date is not my target. The trend line is my target. But we turned off of this trend line from these lows over here, from the low separating the 22021 peaks and this higher low that's set up right here, excluding the shadows. We turned off of there, and that's why I called that top in December and January at that trend line of resistance. Now, are we building momentum to get above that trend line to go to this one, up to the upper channel? I think you got a good shot that that could be the case. But if you lose this area, that's going to be extremely bearish. And that's the point I'm trying to make. Either we've got to bottom here, because if you don't and lose this area, you're going to be moving into a longer term downtrend. And that's why I say we're at a decision place where a decision is going to be made. Are we going to move into a bearish phase? Are we going to bounce and bottom and continue the rally to complete the blow off top? Please support the channel with the link directly below that allows me to be able to provide you this information. If you like the chart, you like the indicators, let me know that by supporting the channel today. All the link below to take you to a secure site, and you can donate any amount you want. Make it a recurring donation. If you do that, I thank you. Thank you for your consideration for that. Watch the video all the way through. I'm going to show you the bearish case. I'm going to show you the bullish case. Key support. It has to hold. If it doesn't, then Bitcoin is in serious, serious trouble. Next week is going to be extremely important for Bitcoin. We're going to have the April 2nd tariffs. Now, the conventional wisdom is that the bottom's going to fall to the stock market, the Bitcoin's going to collapse, and it's over. If you watch the video all the way through, you'll see the support levels and the 50-week moving average, Bitcoin's average price. If we lose those levels, then yeah, it could be over. Could the tariffs, the reciprocal tariffs, give us a bottom? Again, the conventional wisdom on social media is believing the Kool-Aid of the media, and the media is telling us, oh, it's over, that's it. I believe recession is coming. Yes, I believe we're going to have bear markets. I think there's a very good chance we get the final phase of the blow-off top for Bitcoin and the stock market, the final climax rally. That's the way it usually happens. He is telling us, oh, we're going to get these tariffs, that's going to be it. That's what they always say. And then we see tariffs slapped on. We see leaders in other countries make concessions. Trump either walks back the tariffs or pauses them. That's been the cycle. Now, we have some other tariffs in place right now on steel and aluminum, and now had the announcement of the auto tariffs. We see concessions from Europe. Do we see Europe come to the negotiating table? They have to. If they slap on retaliatory tariffs onto the U.S., all Trump's going to do is double down and double the tariffs like he did with Canada. Canada, we had the aluminum and steel tariffs. Canada retaliated with a surcharge on electricity, and Trump doubled their tariffs, and they caved immediately. We're kind of on pause with negotiations. They're going to have this election. Trump and the Prime Minister in Canada just recently talked. So, again, we'll see what happens. But, again, in Europe, they've already, on Friday, they made a concessions list. So they've already are planning to cave. If they don't, it would be extremely foolish, because they're going to move immediately into recession if they decide that they want to do retaliatory tariffs and slaps on more tariffs on them, and then they retaliate. So, I mean, pretty soon, you got 1,000% tariffs on both sides. Does that make any sense to you? It doesn't. It doesn't to me. They're going to come to the negotiating table. And again, could we see a relief rally with the stock market, a relief rally with Bitcoin? Could we see bottoms surrounding the tariffs? That's all I'm saying. Now, it's Saturday. Bitcoin has about 8 hours left in the Saturday session, and currently Bitcoin is down 2.19%. Now, if I bring up my other chart here, you can see the bull flag outlined in blue. We have Bitcoin down yesterday. We had it down yesterday at 3.26%, losing the 200 period again. And again, I talked about back testing. Previously, I had drawn the trend line, including the shadows. We moved beyond that, dropping back below the 20 period moving average. Here, I've excluded the shadow right there, and we're just beyond that level right now. The support zone is directly below, down over here. And again, our low here that we bounced off of. When we were under the 200 period moving average, we bounced, and that's formed this parallel channel, and we bounced off the 50-week moving average, which I've talked about, and right below here is Bitcoin's average price. More about that in a moment. We lose this area, that's extremely bearish. You bounce here, that's extremely bullish. We'll see how we close here, but are we in backtest mode, or do we have a failed breakout here and we're going back down to test the support zone here, and we do and end up taking out this low, then the risk is that we drop below Bitcoin's average price. We break the 2023 trend line. We take out the 50-week moving average. All these things would be extremely bearish for Bitcoin. A bounce at these levels would be extremely bullish, but you got to be able to get above the 200 and stay above it. So far, we're not able to do that. Are we just in backtest mode? Are we moving back to get a deeper, higher low? Or are we going to lose this level altogether? Bull flag going into the 2023 trend line and our 50-week, and the confluence of support here, horizontal support, Bitcoin's average price, the 50-week moving average, the rising trend line from the 2023 low. There's a lot of support in this area. Below this support would be extremely bearish if we drop below Bitcoin's average price and can't get back above it. Again, more about that in a moment. Well, Bitcoin could be back testing the trend line, and again, we had a little possible bull flag there. I told you that if we broke below the lower boundary, that we could get a back test here. We are getting a back test, and then I talked about the trend line. I told you again, we include the shadows or exclude the shadows, and right now we're excluding the shadows. We're just beyond that point. But look at what's happening here. This is interesting. We had the divergence up here that formed the top over here in November, and then on into the December high at 108,000. We had this triple divergence that gave us a sell-off back to key support. We bounced off support, and then we formed another reference point of divergence here with this previous peak. You went higher, but to 109,000. We hit the trend line of resistance in the weekly time frame. I've talked about those trend lines. That's where we turned off of December and in January. We'd have to be able to clear that trend line in order to go higher. Turned off of here, but again, if you connect these highs on the RSI to this high right here, and then right here, our previous rebound for the divergence that we rallied up right here, had it fail at the 20 period moving average. We ended up coming back down, and you got this divergence going on. And look what happened. The divergence broke this downward trend line on the RSI, and then now we're possibly back testing it, as we're back testing possibly this trend line right here. But we had the divergence break the trend line on the RSI, and now we're testing it. So if it's successful, we got to get back above the 50 level on the RSI, and then be able to come back up here and get it back above 50 on the Bitcoin price here, the 50 period moving average. That's a green line right there, and then be able to break this downward trend line. Now, this downward trend line is the parallel boundary of the bull flag. Now, if we exclude shadows, we are turning off of this level. The blue line is a parallel larger channel. If I exclude the shadows right here, but connect this point with this point right here, then that's where we're at right there. And again, about these different trend lines in my previous videos, the one here and the one here. And again, right now, can establish a higher low and rebound, get back above this black trend line, move towards the 50 and the blue trend line, possibly break it. Then again, you can have a successful back test on the RSI. Dropping below this trend line, back below this trend line, opens the door for this low to be tested and to move back into the support zone for either a deeper pullback, and I didn't draw that correct right there, for a deeper pullback into the support zone for a higher low, or to take out this low and get another larger reference point of a divergence. We had this little one, gave us this bottom. Then we had this larger one, and I told you if we failed at the 20, we would end up coming back and getting a divergence to get above that 20-day moving average. We couldn't do it. We failed. So here we formed a larger divergence. Do we end up forming an even larger one? And if we do, then again, you're going down to that average price on Bitcoin. And if you do that, then there's risk you're going to take out the trend line. You're taking out the trend line from the 2023 low. You're taking out the 50-week moving average. So the risk is again, that we terminate the bull phase and stop making new highs. Now, another way to look at it is that, again, we saw the RSI move into the negative region here, but then it firmed back up. It went positive here, it failed, and then it went positive again right here, and then we got this move right here. After that move, after the January 20th high, we saw the RSI move into the negative region, and it's been there ever since. The pull-ups to the 50 level have given us the counter trend rallies here back to the 50 period, the green line right there. Do you see this? And then over here, back up here towards the 20, just overthrowing the 20 that ended up giving us this trend line. And then recently, our high is over here at horizontal resistance, just under the 50. This is the January low right here where we turned off of, and just underneath the 50 period moving average. So again, we got to be able to clear the horizontal resistance. We got to be able to get the RSI back above 50 if we're going to see it turn bullish. The risk is that we come back and take out this low, and if you do, you've got Bitcoin's average price there, and if you lose that, that's going to be extremely bearish. Can we have a successful backtest here on the RSI? Same thing down here with the MACD. The stochastic is breaking 50. The MACD is not able to get back into positive territory. Again, it moved into the negative region after this dip right here in early February, and it's been in the negative region ever since. It's got to be able to get back into the positive region. If it rolls back over, then again, the risk is that we either have a divergence or it starts moving to a new low, and you stay below Bitcoin's average price. You break the 50-week moving average, and we can't make new highs anymore. It's over. That's the bearish scenario, that we lose Bitcoin's average price. We lose the 50-week. We break the 2023 trend line. So right now, will we end up having a successful backtest of that RSI? Will we see the MACD be able to turn back into positive territory, or does it just end up rolling over? So this is where we're at. You got to be able to get back above the 50 period to prevent a death cross. And in order to turn it around for Bitcoin, you got to get back above the 100 period moving average. Okay, we lost the 100 period here. We dropped below it. We went back up and back tested it and tried to get back above it. It failed. And we've been below it ever since. So again, Bitcoin follows the 100 period moving average. In order to have a bullish scenario, you got to get back above the 100. You got to be able to break the trend line of the bull flag, and you got to bounce up these levels of support that I've been talking about. Losing these levels and then not being able to get back above them, dropping here back below the 200 and then losing Bitcoin's average price would be extremely bearish if we hold below that level, if we drop below the 50-week moving average and hold below it. Here's a weekly chart. Again, Bitcoin is bouncing off of the 2023 trend line. That's this blue trend line right here. The last time we reached this area, again, we were down at here, and my trend line moved on me. The program, sometimes when you hit save on it, the trend lines move on you. I love the charts, but sometimes it's annoying because the trend lines do move when you hit save. Look. We hit this trend line. Last time we were at this trend line right here, we're at bouncing off the 50-week moving average. The light green line is the EMA, the 50 EMA. The dark green line is the 50 simple moving average, and we're bouncing off these levels at 49,000, the bottom there, and the 52,000, the higher low. Again, we're trying to do that right now, okay? And same thing over here. So again, if we lose this level of support, this is going to be very bearish. You're taking out the 50-week moving average. You're losing Bitcoin's average price, and again, possibly dropping below horizontal support. If we drop below the 50 and stay below it, breaking the 2023 trend line, these things would all be bearish. If we bounce here, that would be bullish, and you have this bull flag outlined here in black that is going into the 50 period moving averages, going into the 2023 trend line, and Bitcoin's average price. But we got to see the RSI. The RSI tried to get into positive territory above 50 earlier in the week, and it's failed. And right now, Bitcoin's down just over 4%, 4.16% after attempting to bounce off of these levels. Look at the RSI right here. And again, the drop below the 50 level and the pullback to the 50, drop below the 50 on the RSI. These areas where we bounced, the RSI got back above 50. These marked bottoms right here and back over here. Okay? And bullish divergence got us back above the 50. So the pullbacks to the 50 level after we got back above it here have marked the short-term bottoms. Now, if we lose this area and we stay in the negative territory with the RSI and we lose the 50-week, that's going to be extremely bearish. Zoom out here, again, you can see at the 2021 peak, we lost the 50-week moving averages after trying to bounce off of them. We lost it, and then those levels became resistance. So again, that would be extremely bearish. The RSI moved into the negative region, and then consistently stayed there. The pull up right here to the 50 level on the RSI just above it was the pull up to the 50 simple moving average, and the EMA just below it there, pull up to those levels, but then it failed. Okay, and then we got the bigger dump. So again, the RSI remaining in the negative region through the decline, it's been in the positive region, and the dips down to below 50 have been where we have bounced off the 50-week moving average. So we're at a major level of support. Either we're going to bounce, or if we break this level, that would be extremely bearish, and that's what we did over here. So again, at the 2021 top. This is the weekly chart for Bitcoin. We lose the 50-week, we lose Bitcoin's average price in the daily time frame, then that's going to be extremely bearish. If we bounce off these levels, that's going to be extremely bullish and helpful for Bitcoin. I think we're at a critical time where either we're going to see a bottom or we're going to see a breakdown. And again, either Bitcoin is going to see the bottom fall out of it, or it's going to bottom, one or the other. This is Bitcoin's average price. And again, last time we're right above it here with our low at 76,600 there on March 11th. We bounced off of it here at 49,000 and 52,000. That gave us this bottom right here. We tagged it. Here we were just above it back over here. We bottomed and formed divergences on indicators. We got it back above Bitcoin's average price, first getting back above 100 period moving average, found support at the 100, and then stalled at Bitcoin's average price, got above it, bounced off the 100 period, and again the 100 period eventually got back above Bitcoin's average price. If we lose this level, the risk is that we come down here back into this area right here. That is the risk, back to this 50,000 area, this low 50,000 area. That's the risk. Bitcoin peaked in 2021. It lost, in a couple months, it lost 52%. If you look at it over here, we tried to bounce off of Bitcoin's average price. We breached it, and then we, rallied, and then we breached it again, and then we tried to rally, but we couldn't get back above the 100 period moving average. And we ended up getting a bigger push down back here. That's what I'm saying. We're going back here if we lose this area. Okay? Now we could bottom, get something like this, where we bottomed at it, rallied, bottomed at it just above it. Right now we're just above it, and we get one more push higher. Certainly possible. You got to bounce here. Again, we could be at this late stage right here where you get this big move up, but then you top out. Or are we at this stage where we're going to lose Bitcoin's average price? We're going to lose the 50 period. We're going to lose the trend line from the 2023 low. We're going to lose horizontal support. This confluence of support, and you break it, and then that's it. You come down here, and then you come back to Bitcoin's average price, and you end up getting this move where it's over. And again, you consistently below the 100 period moving average. And when you lost Bitcoin's average price, little orange line right here, when you lost this Bitcoin's average price, you stayed below it. We got rejection at it here, and we stayed below it, and bad things happened. You had the bear market, and you sold off until you got back above it right here, until we had all of this. So again, below it is bearish, above it is bullish, And right now, we're right at it. And that's why these people, I'm listening to people saying that, okay, we can go lower, then we're going to go higher. If we go lower, the risk is we drop below Bitcoin's average price, we drop below the 50-week moving average, and we stay below those levels and can't get back above them. That is the risk right now. Like I said, either we're going to start seeing a bottom form right here, or we're going to have the bottom fall out of Bitcoin. One or the other. You're going to have the bottom fall out of Bitcoin, or you're going to form a bottom. One or the other. We're at a crucial level of support. I keep saying we either have to bottom here, because if we lose this area, it's going to be extremely bearish for Bitcoin. If you lose Bitcoin's average price, if you lose the 50-week moving average and stay below those levels, that's bearish. So either we're going to try to bottom right here, or it could be curtains for Bitcoin. That's what I'm trying to explain to you. I'm telling you, we're at a make it or break it moment. You lose this area, and it's right around the 74, 75,000 area. If we lose this area of support, dropping below Bitcoin's average price, it's going to be very difficult to get back above it. Bearish case for the bears, we stalled at the 161 expansion of Bitcoin's average price here in December and then here in January. That's what we did back over here at the 2021 top. Now, at the first 2021 top, we exceeded that level. The second 2021 top, we stalled at that level. And we came down, we broke the 100, and then we did this dance around Bitcoin's average price and ended up losing it. Okay? And again, that does look similar to this, and that's why I'm telling you, we are at a make it or break it moment. If we get this kind of thing where we dance around this area and we end up losing it, then that is going to be extremely bearish for Bitcoin. I still think Bitcoin has a shot at going to new highs. I still think Bitcoin reached the upper channel in the weekly time frame before topping the final phase of the blow-off top. But I'm just telling you, taking out these levels, Bitcoin's average price and the 50-week moving average, that would be extremely bearish for Bitcoin. Not dropping below those levels and then bouncing, but dropping below these levels and staying below them.